Hello, people of the world of the internet watching videos that have to do with cars. Welcome to this, my 1983 S130 Datsun 280ZX, which may be going home with one of you here soon. There'll be more details on that later on in the video. In the previous video, I was in the process of installing a set of long tube headers and a one-off custom 3-inch stainless steel exhaust. However, to do that, it required extensive disassembly of the left side of the engine. It was kind of a blessing in disguise though, because it gave me the opportunity to be able to replace a bunch of vacuum lines, coolant hoses, and gaskets, which I was able to source directly from Nissan itself. Nothing beats genuine parts when you're working on a car. I know that just made someone super excited that I'm using OEM parts to do this. I also upgraded all of the M8 hardware from a bolt to a stud with a nut, which makes installation and removal much easier in the future. That's a seal right there. Obviously this has to happen before I can reassemble. I'm using a little bit of my Blaster 5000. My secret weapon is a toilet brush. Or is this for coffee cups? I don't know. Coffee poop, they all are related. In Forrest Gump's logic, I've come this far, I thought I might as well just keep going. Well, this stuff's easy for me to do, but not so much for someone else that doesn't have access to a lift and a shop. Ow! Ah, it only has an upper. It's nice that someone had already upgraded the radiator on this before I bought it. So glad this thing's got a drain cock on it. Wish I would have realized that a while ago when I made a huge mess on the floor. What? It's already empty. Bottom hose. Oh Jesus! How did the drain cock not let any coolant out? But I just got R. Kelly'd. Mind the shroud. There you go. I've already gone this far. It would just be lazy of me not to throw new belts on this thing. So it was only a couple more bolts. And whilst I'm at it, that also means I could clean a little bit more. This is absolutely disgusting. I can't put that back on like that. So I ultrasonic cleaned them and cleaned them up with a wire brush. These are really nasty. Unfortunately, Nissan no longer makes this part. There is some aftermarket billet ones, but I guess supposedly the threading might be different for the sensors. I do have a set of OEM gaskets for these. However, I'm gonna use some Right stuff because that shit is like insta seal. Got a short window to work with here. It's a perfect time for my phone to be ringing. Okay, it's not my nicest speed, but there you go. I did actually find tech data for this, in case you were wondering, so. These factory torque specs are surprisingly low too. Can I get a socket on there? No. See if I can torque it with a crowfoot. Already a slight issue. That stud's physically too long to get the washer over it to get the nut on there. I ordered a shorter stud just in case I ran into this issue. That ain't gonna work. But unfortunately, it was a little bit too short, so modification required. Cold zinc the tip so it don't rust. Haha, that's perfect. To make sure that I make my arms itch for the next week after installing this, I'm gonna put this little titanium heat protectant sleeve. Here goes nothing. Try to do this out scratching any of the paint. Bring this guy up over. Oh, this is not gonna go as easy as I thought it was. I thought I could just slide it down past those washers, but I can't even see what the hell I'm doing. Wait, is that it? No way. I'm literally doing this blind. I can't see any of the hardware and I need that lower lip of the intake manifold to tuck behind those washers so that way I can bring it all together as one unit. I don't think there's anything. It looks fine. So you can kind of see the copper nuts right up there. You can see how accessible this is to try to tighten this hardware. Not. Oh shit! Hey, I caught it with my useless hand. A couple of these actually aren't that bad to get to. Verdict is installing the header and swapping from a bolt to a stud with a nut. Just changed that from a 9 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10 for an ass pain job. Actually wasn't too bad at all. It took about 30 minutes. just got up there with this wrench for all of them.
Ease of maintenance modifications are the best modifications.
Pop this off. Take this fuel rail off. Now the fuel rail, as you can see, has got old original fuel lines on it and the old injectors, which I could probably clean them up and reuse them. That AC is cold on my butt. Oh yeah, this fuel line is super dry. Look at that, it's like chalk. Oh, it's thundering out. That was a good one. These are in good shape, thankfully. Ow, that was my finger I just stabbed. Spray a little bit of my ungreased. Use a yellow scotch. This one's not too abrasive.
This is not a restoration, it's a survivor car, but this deteriorated zinc finish does not look good.
Huh? I'd say that cleaned up pretty good. I might have cheated a little bit and used something that, just don't worry about it, it looks better. Welcome to the following day. How did these go on? I forgot. Made in Japan. Some OEM rebuilt injectors. It's got desiccant packets in there in case some mice try to eat the injectors, I guess. Oh yeah, that helps a lot. All this just to install a header, but it was worth it. Now, whilst I'm at it, some of these plastic connectors were broken. These are replacement pigtails for the factory plugs that go to the injectors, and most of the engine connectors are this style actually. They're a little bit beefier in design if you look at them. So yeah, it's not OEM, but I think it's a suitable replacement and it's a lot better than brittle 42-year-old plastic and rubber. I gotta get everything that goes under the fuel rail now. Fuel rail. Oh yeah, that's why I left that one loose. I remember how much this sucked. I didn't even really do anything other than clean this stuff, and it already looks so much better. Life hack, use a magnet to get the screws in their hole first. Or you could just use a magnetic screwdriver. That'd probably make sense too. This is shaping up to be one of those days where I end up working 9 hours and filming 2 minutes of footage. This is time consuming. Yeah, my spine is killing me. Yep, that's good. I honestly wouldn't even rule out wearing a face shield with these things. Spring Flinger 5000. Tech tip, don't smile while doing this. You will be missing a tooth after. Before I get ahead of myself, I don't understand that saying. Who originated that? How do you get ahead of yourself? I guess that would be like remote viewing. Maybe it was a remote viewer that came up with that. Now, the other belts. In a nutshell, what I am doing right now is all of the ass pain jobs that no one wants to do on a car like this. Okay, there we go, that's a loose belt. Wow, that belt is like a piece of wood. See how bad and dry rotted those belts were? That's why I'm replacing them. Back in you go.
And as a bonus, it's just more footage showing how stuff comes apart and goes together on these cars, because there's not very many of them on the internet.
I'm hungry and I'm over it. It's the following day, and I have concluded if I were to ever do all of that work again, it would be smarter to just pull the engine and transmission, get it out of the car, get everything cleaned up nice, do all that work, and then drop it right back in. It wouldn't be faster, but it'd be less of an ass pain, which would probably be about the same amount of time. In my defense though, I didn't realize I was gonna end up doing all of this work just to install a header. Hopefully I can get this plug out in one piece. Sweet, that guy right there. Very important little sensor. For being over 40 years old, I gotta give Nissan props for still making parts for these. Old? New. Apparently there are two different styles of this sender, and I ordered the wrong one. This is the one that I ordered, which it says it's for 75 to 83, but I'm probably gonna end up having to order the other one. But first, I'm guessing one was for the ET and the other one is for the pissing on my foot. Love that. Now I'm soaked in coolant. So my guess is this thing might not run very good at cold start until I get that other sensor, which I gotta order now. Oh, that's why that's all mashed potatoed right there. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't understand how they thought that was a good idea.
Apparently there's more than one part on this car that Nissan made 2 different versions of in the same model year, so it's a little tricky when ordering parts for these things.
Wow, I hate this.
Also really tricky, accessing some of these bolts if you don't have arms like a spider.
It's already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I started filming at about 8 this morning, and I have accomplished, again, like 2 minutes of footage. You think you get it in, and then you gotta take it out, and you gotta do it again, and then you have to do it out. I think my arm shows you what it's like working on the engine bay of this car. Nissan doesn't make their cars easy to work on unless you just fully disassemble the nose. It's kind of German, like the service position on an Audi or a B-Dub. Only a couple more things, and that's it. The only thing left to do now is perform robot surgery. Good thing I'm doing this. There's some creepy green death at the terminal right there. So this is actually smart. It's approximately 3:18 on the 4th of July. Hopefully I can be done before fireworks start. For those of you watching right now that are enjoying a barbecue, have an extra burger for me because I work every day. Yeah, the creepy green death didn't go too far. That's good. I had to cut that back quite a bit to get the fresh copper. It was like nasty on the ground side. I decided to go with these heat shrink crimps because of the fact that this thing is above a heat source rather than go with solder. This made more sense to me, and plus this is what OEMs typically use. They don't use solder on engine harnesses. 457. No more dry, old, brittle connectors. All of these plugs have been replaced with new ones. Hi, welcome to the following day. For those of you that appreciate interdimensional penguin time traveling capabilities, Karen designed a t-shirt for it. Since the whole purpose of this project is a giveaway, which there is no purchase necessary to enter or win, full rules are disclosed on my website, sarentuned.com. However, you can go there to purchase this t-shirt or other merchandise, as well as my personal own detailing brand, RoboBubble. Every dollar you spend will gain an entry to win either that car or a cash-only prize option in case you don't want the car. So why does my lift sound like it's got indigestion? The downside of these early 80s EFI cars is the vacuum system can be terrifying if you don't dissect it into segments that's easy to understand. The Nissan service manual breaks down each vacuum component like circuits electrically, and it codes them accordingly so you can digest this nightmare of robot spaghetti. Another thing you can easily screw up is just assuming that it was hooked up correctly on a car this old. A brand new spool of hose right here. I got ported vacuum for my distributor. That vacuum circuit is done. I'm sorry, it's really hard to put a camera in here. Under the throttle body, fuel injectors. Which ones go where? That's fun. I gotta figure out what injector goes to what side. White and green is number 5. I only need to identify 2 of these. I'll mark these with a paint marker so I know which one goes where. There. All right, my little chart. 4, 6, 2, 5. That almost sucked. All right, I actually got a lot of stuff I can cross off now. Rack, lower ball joints, cap plug wire rotor, fuel filter, fluid service. I gotta do the diff. That's on. That's like half the stuff knocked out. Before I even fill this thing up with coolant, the intelligent thing to do would be to prime the fuel system and check for fuel leaks. In no way would I say that was a difficult job, but it was an extremely time-consuming job for as little as it looks like it would be. Everything is just a nightmare to access. Batteries connected. I'll prime the fuel system first. I'm so nervous right now because I don't want to do this job again. Prime. I got the other camera watching since I can't see. Oh, the battery's low. I should put this thing on a tender. All right, let's look for fuel leaks. Now I know the fuel system is ready. Pretty sure it takes 3 jugs, like Total Recall. Someone laughed at that. It was really not funny though. Inspectigating. This thing's probably gonna take a shit ton of coolant because it's got a bigger radiator on it. Looks good so far. This thing takes 9.7 liters. I'll bleed this and add some more. I hear a door. Hello.
Hello.
So good timing
Yeah.
because I'm gonna start it.
This generation of electronic fuel injection is not my favorite to work on.
You're telling me I just spent 2 weeks doing that shit.
That or you just deleted the whole thing and go Weber side grass.
I think you make more power with ITBs and EFI.
Theoretically, you make more power with carburetors.
Oh, really?
Theoretically. Because the latent, what is it called? The latent heat of something. Anyway, the fuel being atomized into the airstream that far above the cylinder head actually takes all the heat out of the air, so you get a cooler charge. Did you move it at all?
No, but that's what it is. That sounds good.
It does. There is no.
Yeah, there is. I'll show you. I didn't let it run very long because as you can see, the idle is rough at cold start. So I'm gonna unplug the cold start injector, which would verify if that temp sensor I was gonna replace is actually faulty. As tempting as it is to wanna just delete all this stuff, I like the challenge of trying to get all this stuff to function. It smells better than it did before with the old gas in it though. Like that smells healthier. Oh, it fires up quicker now. Turn that screw for me. Unplugging the cold start injector and screwing with the idle control speed screw didn't really do much. It smells super rich at idle, which it did before I took this whole thing apart, so nothing has changed there. It is running smoother than it did before, so there is an improvement, but I'm pretty sure that those temp sensors that control the fuel enrichment are faulty and it's dumping tons of extra fuel to all 6 injectors. Now, 80s cars have very little electronics and they're simple, but they do fail over time. They degrade, especially capacitors. Can you imagine what an electric car is going to be like 40 years from now? As soon as those new sensors come in, what I am going to do is take apart my TPS, clean the copper contacts, and make sure it is correctly adjusted, as well as the AFM, something a lot of people are afraid of doing, but it's not bad if you know what you're doing. I wish I could have been able to let you actually hear the car. You got a little bit of a taste of it, but I gotta sort this stupid cold start issue out. And if you notice, there is a little bit of an exhaust leak that is expected. That is the merge collector where it slips at the header. They're supposed to expand with heat and that seals it. That's how it did on the Celica and that doesn't leak. But that one might need to get expanded a little bit more. So I might have Forrest come back and just modify that little section and that will seal that up. So I'm sorry you didn't get to hear the full real deal in this video, but that's what happens when you work on 42-year-old cars. I'll get this thing sorted and I'll see you guys soon on the next one. Bye.